What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the KFC toys Kingzilla. You may know him better as Snapdragon. Yeah, this is the third-party Snapdragon from KFC, as previously mentioned. Let's talk about what he comes with before we go in detail on the robot. He does come with some handles here. Presumably, this is for their ape face, who I don't have yet. I guess there's a problem with the guns. He comes with a replacement head here, well, replacement face I should say. Really what you're only getting is the legs and the thighs here, so you just kind of pop the thighs off and pop this one on. And you get this metal plate, and no Bobby Skullface, this is not to go in here, just taunting Bobby here. In his defense though, you really can't tell that there's magnets here, and it's designed to stick this head, presumably because they can't put heel spurs on it. Real quick, kind of a spoiler here, there's no heel spurs, or no magnets on this one, so he does not actually magnetize this, so it seems only to be for ape face. And the final thing they give us is this stand. Make sure that you have this little peg going backwards, but a little tip here before you end up putting anything in the hole here. Go ahead and put in a little WD-40 or silicone shock oil into the holes or on the tabs here, because when I put it in the first time, it got so stuck in there you could hear things kind of snapping apart as I was trying to pull it apart. And it's still tough. It's not easy to get apart, but at least I'm not worried about these pegs breaking, and clear plastic is notoriously fragile. So on the Snapdragon himself, I gotta say, after I saw my friend Bobby's review, I was impressed with this enough that I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna take a chance. And he came, and I like him a lot. I will say he's not perfect. I do feel like there's a little bit too much gap in these. In fact, in the right way, you can actually see right through his leg. I do wish that was a little bit better. The ratchets here, there's too few of them, in my opinion. So like, it's kind of hard to get them in like what feels like a natural stance, because as you can see, like if I kick it one out, it's like that. If I kick it two out, like then that just kind of looks ridiculous. So I could have used a little more ratchets in there, but it's not terrible. There is die cast on the thighs, and I don't know if there's anywhere else. I just feel it there. So coming up to the head sculpt here, I really do like the head sculpt. I do wish that the like mask portion kind of protruded outwards a little from a side angle. I think it looks a little silly. I don't think it really would have disrupted the Dino mode too much, or the Dragon mode, but I do think that it's a little lackluster here. Yeah, and the big problem I have with it, for articulation here, there's no up and down obviously, but you do get a full side to side. My big problem is that it looks like he's kind of missing a piece, like, and this comes back into play in Dino mode too, but like there's his little headmaster just peeking out from behind all the time. I don't really care for that. I really wish there was an extra panel. Coming down here, one of the things I really like is they did give him the stat thing. Totally never needs to be seen if it's not your thing, but I always liked that thing. That was one of my little favorite gimmicks that the headmasters had when I was a young kid. Articulation, we're not going to spend too much time talking about it. You do have a nice rotation here, and in and out. Like I said, the head, you have an ab crunch a little bit. You do have a waist. You do have all this skirt armor that gets out of the way. We already saw the problem with the legs. The knee is a double jointed knee, but due to some of the kibble back here, it does end up getting a little caught up. Holy heel spur, that's a huge heel spur, but you do get plenty. I say that, there we go, it's a little tight, but you do get an ankle tilt that is ratcheted, and you do have a whole swivel in here to kind of mess with to get, you know, whatever position you really need, though it does look a little silly on certain positions, but you can't get an upward like that. So when I said there's no die cast, these actually are die cast. They're getting colder as I'm sitting down here in the basement. Anyway, coming to the arm, you do have a double jointed elbow here, so you get a pretty good range of motion out of it. Not a perfect range, but it's good enough. You do have a bicep swivel, and then you do have a forearm swivel. And then coming down to the hands here, you can see each finger is individually articulated. I don't like that because these ball joints are so small that I feel like they're just, you know, one little mishap could end up breaking these hands out, whether it's a wrong transformation, the wrong person picking it up. I wish they weren't like this, I really do. So I pulled two bots for a size comparison. Here he is next to MP10. I think that's a pretty good size. I do expect Snapdragon to be a little bit taller than Optimus Prime. And here he is next to the Fans Toys Weird Wolf. And I think that looks really, really good together personally. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy to a spaceship mode first. But we'll start with the head. The head is very easy to transform. You pull it off. And as you already saw his face there. Just bring the legs down, and then these do plug in here, and just watch your fingers because all the teeth are actually sharp. I don't really care for those big silver screws. I would have preferred them to be black just to hide them a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know. The face sculpt, I could have used a little bit of paint on the actual headmaster, but I mean, it's the headmaster. It's not too bad, but definitely some paint would have been welcome here. Oh yeah, one last thing. If you do want to display your headmaster, he does have these little heel spurs to flip out, so you can end up standing him pretty easily on a surface in front of the body. Also, for quick comparison, here is the Fans Toys Monzo next to him, and you can see it's a little bit bigger, but again, I don't really dislike that. I think it looks just fine. So to get onto the transformation with the rest of the bot, we're going to go ahead and take the guns out, go ahead and fold the stocks up here. For the arms, I always like to fold these in so we don't have any mishaps. Just kind of fold them around so he's kind of making a fist here. We're going to open this up just like so, twist it at the top. I feel that's the best way to keep any fingers from being caught as you go in, and just kind of close all that up. And we'll repeat that for this side here. Once again, bring the thumb down, open this, open the bottom panel, rotate it, close it up. Beautiful. Take this claw, whatever it is, pull it out just like so, and we're good to go. Now there is a light up feature on this. I don't have that installed. It's a CR2025 battery. I have a ton of batteries. That's not the one. I did also want to point out that the backpack, I don't really care for this. I wish that this folded up inside more. It looks like it kind of should have, but this is just too wide. There's no way that it can be done. So anyway, take this. You can see the battery thing here. If you want to access it, you push it from here to get it out. Otherwise, we go ahead and we just close this up. Here's your landing gear. If you care, you pop it out. We bring this whole thing up, clip it in place. Look, it's like a dinosaur. Close that up. We don't want to make that dino mode out of this. So we got the front of the jet kind of in place here. The next thing to do is take them, use the ab crunch. This is actually going to allow these panels here to swing out and up on both sides. Go ahead and do that, and then crunch it back closed and tab these into place, which does kind of lock the torso here. From here, go ahead, flip the waist. Let's go ahead and work on the feet now. We're going to take this, fold it all the way up like so. And it does feel like it should be flush, but just so you know, the purple piece isn't flush. Take that, fold it up just like that. So we'll do that all again, like so. We'll come around to the back here. We're going to open this up, and this part can be a little tricky. We're going to do it on both sides here, and sometimes it gets a little bit difficult to make this black piece clear, so you just kind of have to move the leg around until it ends up really working. And then you're going to probably need to come around to the front here and just kind of push that blue bar into place here, just like so. And we can take this little piece, I pop it all the way open, and I just leave it like that while I'm working on the other leg. So we'll go ahead, get this all the way around, make it clear, come back, see what we're doing wrong. There we go, push that blue piece in, close this all up. And what happened, his hip skirts popped out, so we gotta adjust things a little. There we go, on both sides here. It's not the easiest thing, but I mean it's straightforward at least. And then you can go ahead and close all this together, all these various pegs. So once we have that, we can take this and close it up, and you can see we got these two holes here. You do want to make sure that these squeeze together and plugs in there. And whoops, forgot to pop this one out. There we go. Squeeze it together, fold those little vent pieces down. Take this while it's still kind of up like that, and just kind of force it to clip down in place. I don't like these dyno arms, they come unpegged all the time. So we got this. We're pretty close to being done here. The next thing we have to do, take the arms and kind of rotate them sideways on these joints here, and you see these little gray clips, they go up, and then this is gonna let this whole assembly freely move. And you want basically the intake here to kind of go parallel with this, and you can close this little clip up. And we'll just do it on both sides here, because he does have this tendency to kind of come apart a little bit. So once we have everything kind of aligned like this, what you want to do here is take this peg here, peg it in, and then these two pegs on the back by the foot peg in, and that should secure everything together. Okay, we got that cleaned up. Here is the landing gears, and they come out this far, but the moment you try to put anything on them, they will go back in, so you have to give them an extra push, which doesn't feel all that great, but does lock them in place. I really dislike that. I feel like something is not right, or is going to give out. The guns here, you can see we've got the hole and like a slot to receive the part of the handle that sticks out, so they just plug right into the bottom there. You even have the little like tab piece here, fits in. That's pretty nice. I like that. And we're done. The only thing you can do is adjust these. Officially, they say straight up. Given its spaceship thing, I don't know. I guess I'm influenced by Star Wars a lot. I like the angular wings. So there we go. This has on the side here, there's a switch here, which if you put those batteries in by popping this out, you can manually turn it on by clicking this, or actually, when you open the cockpit, you're going to see, maybe, hopefully, this piece of the cockpit actually flips the switch and turns it on for you. Anyway, to get our headmaster inside, we want to fold up his heel spares, put him in the sitting position, and then this little post that comes out his butt goes right into the hole in the bottom. So feed the legs underneath the little console and push him in. Now my problem is that since these doors open and they don't really secure super duper well, he just tends to kind of mess up the bottom of the jet here when you're trying to get him in. So you kind of have to hold that closed, and let's give it another attempt. There we go. He's in. He looks good inside his cockpit, though you really can't see him. I said I'd bring it up where it was relevant. As you can see, the flames do go ahead and peg into the thrusters here, one for each side, so I love that. I like that nice little effect they give. For a quick size comparison here is the old I-gear, I believe it is, thrust, and here he is for reference. So he is pretty big, and this is a masterpiece scaled based on the original Starscream mold. I will say pegging him into the stand isn't the best feeling thing in the world. It does plug into a little port there right above his abdomen. There he is with the flame effect. And since it's just a small little stand, the stand does have this tendency to wiggle at the base, but hey, it's giving him that realistic flying through space or the atmosphere look, right? So let's get this guy to his dyno mode. Let's start with the headmaster, I guess. So we're going to take his hands and plug them back into here. One of these plugs in really easy on mine, and the other takes a little bit of doing. So sharp. really wish it wasn't so hard to get the hand in here. There we go. Because the teeth are just so darn sharp. And you fold this up, and like, see, this is the thing. You could have hidden his face if you had an extra little piece on one side that flipped up to cover it. And then, like, as it stands when the mouth is closed, like, it doesn't really look like he's complete. See what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's fine when he's roaring like this. You can kind of get away with it and hide it. But this, by itself, it's kind of unacceptable to me. I hope that they come up with a replacement part, or, you know, even a third party, another third party company can give me a new set of legs for this guy that work. We can do away with the heel spurs by making some pieces that flop up and go ahead and put them on by magnets. Like, that's a big gripe for me. Anyway, onto the jet here. We take this, and I always forget which way we go. This way, I folded the landing gears in. The instructions do say keep this one out, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. It'll move itself out of the way, and we can go ahead and move that. This I wish was toleranced a little bit better. Mine does flop open pretty regularly. We'll go ahead and we'll unpeg the arms here. Take these all the way down here. Take the claws, flip them around. Now, what I like to do, and this is all an aesthetic thing, besides taking the guns off here, I prefer that dino look. So you gotta keep the paws forward, and I bring the knee forward like this, so I can, or the elbow, I guess, backwards, so I can end up putting the paw, claw, whatever it is, like that. So I always kind of fold it around, and then once I have it in place, I grab it and I spin what's going to be the dragon leg here. And that, I just feel like that gives an overall better look to this guy. And the instructions just kind of show it straight up and down. So, however you guys feel most comfortable, that's what I say go ahead and do. Coming to the top here, you gotta work this piece out, which isn't the easiest thing necessarily to do. Make sure that it's not caught on those little flaps. Work that out, and then split this, open this guy up. You do have to kind of raise these a little, because when these come back, it kind of gets a little bit in the way, I found. So once we have that, we can go ahead and close that back up and peg all this stuff together. Let me clean this up off camera, and I'll be right back. So once we've got that, we'll go ahead and take this, bring it back into its final position here. Like so. And slide it into place. Now we take these, and there's nothing about it. These are pathetically stupid looking. Whoops, I forgot to fold down my little vents just to make his shoulders look a little better. These look so bad. Anyway, go ahead and fold these out, and you can keep them like that, and they're articulated a little, and they look ridiculous. I personally just go ahead and try to bring them in as close to the body as I can, like this. Look, he's using quotations. He's like, I'm going to attack you. Anyway, whatever. Take that, and then we take the headmaster here, and the headmaster plugs right into this neck piece here, like that. And there we go. We got him in his dragon mode, and I don't think it really looks that bad. It certainly looked worse in the pictures. The biggest thing for me, again, is the head looking a little bit unfinished here. These arms are definitely on the dumpy side, but you can make them work. The closer they are to the body, the better they work to me. Accessories, we can take the gun, we can plug it into the back. So for the dragon mode, it would have been great to have a Dinobot in its alt mode, but I don't have one handy. So here's Optimus Primal, one beast for, you know, another beast mode there. So let's go ahead and transform him back to his robot mode and get out of here. Go ahead, whoops, we're losing the dino mode, whatever. go ahead and just fold the legs up, and there we go, complete head with the little headmaster poking out. Gotta love it. Bring this piece, well, just bring the tail back like this, then open this up, and you can fold this all the way down and inside, and just kind of close that the best you can. From here, we're gonna open these little tabs. Actually, let's go ahead and bring this back first, then we can open up these little tabs more safely. Bring the shoulder piece up and lock it in place. Bring the shoulder piece, lock it in place. Rotate the arm assembly around the other way. Take the paw, fold it up and in, around, up and in. Find the proper way for the elbow to bend, and then go ahead and rotate it so the purple piece is up. Bring this down and this down. Open it. Spin this around. We're not going to open up the hand. You've seen that. We'll just twist it into position. Again for this side. Bring it around. Bring that around. Wings straight down. Open, open. Flip it out. Close it, close it. Here's the hand. Come back to this piece here. Articulate this piece out of here. Again, takes a little bit of doing. Unpeg these two side panels. Use the ab crunch. Fold them all the way in. Just kind of bring the ab crunch back in and leave it like that. Coming to these hands here, I hate them. Fold these in, and you just kind of have to mess around with the position of this black one, and then just look for that little teeny tiny hole here and plug it in place. And then I just always push on this bar to kind of tighten everything, and you can fold this down once you've got it. So kind of bring that black piece down, try to plug that in, adjust that linkage here, and adjust the claw and the hand just like so. Take this, split it in half, open this up, fold these little vents in so we don't forget them. It's easier to deal with the neck once we've got this all apart, so just go ahead and keep splitting everything, including the neck piece. And be careful with the neck piece. I don't know if it's a widespread thing, but mine is starting to develop a stress mark on one of these posts. Nothing that I think is actually going to negatively impact it. In fact, I don't even see it right now, but just be aware of it. So go ahead, spin this down. Spin this all the way down. Now we can adjust this neck piece, and you can kind of see the cutout that it's going to go into. You want to tilt the head all the way, or the neck all the way forward, and it should click nicely into place when you have it right. So once again, take the neck, swivel it all the way, and bring it down, and it'll click in place. Close this up, that'll click in place, just like so. We can rotate the waist, which now lets us take this and kind of can leave it like that. It really doesn't matter. If you want the waist articulation, I do suggest kind of leaving a little room. Fold this down, and it does plug into the back there. Can't leave too much room for that piece. Come down here to the foot, open this all the way, and just make sure that that all lines up. And go ahead and fold that hinge back like so. Do it again. There we go. There we got him back in his body mode, and we just take the head here and plug it straight in. And there we go. Overall, I do like this toy a lot. I am glad I picked it up. I think I'm definitely in on Ape Face. I do think that this guy looked better. But frankly, until I see somebody else announce anything, I don't necessarily know if these were they the horror cons? Is that what these were called? I can't remember. But I don't know if anybody else is going to end up making them. And I've always really liked Ape-Face and Snapdragon. They were actually the first, well, Ape-Face was one of the first headmasters I picked up when I got back into collecting Transformers, and Snapdragon was one of my first TFCon USA purchases, so I ended up finding the G1 version. So I kind of have a special place for Snapdragons and Ape-Faces, so I think I will have to get them, or get the Ape-Face from KFC, maybe at TFCon. So this is T2RX6. Again, I don't think it's perfect. I do think it's pretty good, and it's a lot of fun, and going back and forth to the modes is relatively easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.